Whew. See, y'all gotta learn, man. And I'm not about to keep going over this same process, right? So, another person who I've been teaching got arrested.
No shit.
Whoa. Now, I appreciate the honesty, but it honestly doesn't surprise me that another person that you've been teaching got arrested. This is a clear sign for any individual who listens to this man to stop taking his advice. His advice will lead you straight to prison.
And it's for the same thing that I told him to avoid. This is what y'all don't understand, right? He want to travel without license registration in the state of Florida, right? And he want to, claim he's traveling, exercising his constitutional rights. And that might sound legit, right? But it doesn't work when you have contracts within the state and you contractually giving the state consent amongst every stop that they encounter you with, right? So a friend of mine is a non-citizen national, got the passport and everything like that. He got arrested. No license, no registrations or nothing. But what keep pulling him in the jurisdiction is the address that they have on file.
No, you moron. That is not what keeps pulling him into the jurisdiction. What keeps pulling him into the jurisdiction is that he is on U.S. soil. So you're automatically under the U.S. jurisdiction. Once you're in this country, you have to abide by the laws of the land. Point blank, period. There is no two ways around that. So you sitting up here trying to preach because he didn't change his address, yada, yada, yada. That's what pulls him into the jurisdiction. Excuse me, sir, but you are a complete moron. And no one should listen to you. Anybody that listens to you is going to end up just like the guy that you're about to explain the story. They're going to wind up in jail, just like him. Do not listen to this guy. Do not listen to this guy. He is a fool.
Anytime you tell the police that you live in this certain address, they gain jurisdiction. If you have any licenses within the state and you have not surrendered it, they gain jurisdiction. You can read the statutes in the state of Florida, 48.193, and it's going to tell you how the state of Florida and the courts within the state gain jurisdiction over subjects. Now, me personally, every time I get in contact with the police, nothing happened because I know what to do and know what not to do. I drive around with guns. I drive around with no license plates, nothing. No license or nothing in the state of Florida. I have no legal ties within the state of Florida, but I own a corporation, and I kept that corporation separate from me. So y'all got to understand one thing. You can't keep contracting with the state and want to be sovereign citizens, state citizen, non-citizen nationals, and those who claim themselves to be Moors. It doesn't work like that.
Excuse me, sir, but I just have one question. What in the doohickey does owning a corporation have to do with you when you're being pulled over by the police? What in the world are you talking about? This man right here, he's a charlatan. He will show you the magical way for a fee. Ladies and gentlemen, keep your money in your pockets. He just admitted that another one of his students got arrested, which means the crap that he is selling does not work. He is talking a bunch of rubbish.
Either you in or you out. You contract with these people and you have to follow their rules and regulations. That's how it works. You can't be a constitutionalist 1 minute and then the next minute you want to be a United States citizen. It doesn't work like that. Because every time you get pulled over by the police, that is a new time where they can try to get you to consent to the jurisdiction. He has an open pending case and wanted to exercise his rights. He just caught the case for the same crime, and they're driving on a suspended license. He hasn't surrendered the license. His case is fresh, so all they're going to do is pull up the file. And once they pull up the file, they can see the citation. And the citation has his address on it. Ooh, it don't work like that. So many of y'all who want to practice, this stuff that y'all see on YouTube, you have to understand contracts. That's what y'all not understanding. Because the legal task to that state is what gives them jurisdiction over you. They ain't got jurisdiction over me. It don't work like that. Because I know how the game go. And so let me show y'all this, right? I'm going to read the Florida statute to you. Contractual waiver of personal jurisdiction under Florida statute 685.102. This is showing you that every state that gained jurisdiction over you is because of contraction, like a contract that you made with them. So if you make a contract with the state, you lose your rights. You lose your right to bear arms. You lose your right to travel. You lose your right to do anything that you want to do in the private because you are playing in a public affair.
Now, to me, this is what makes this man so idiotic, because he thinks that he's so smart and he knows it all. He just said that if you get into a contract with the state, you lose your right to travel. So are you telling me, sir, that if I get into any type of contract with the state, I lose my right to travel? Meaning, I can't ride my bike 50 miles? That would be traveling. So are you saying I can't jump on the public bus to go from point A to point B? That would be traveling. Are you saying that I can't walk 3 miles to go to the store? That would be traveling. Are you saying that I can't jump on my roller skates and roll wherever the heck I want? That would be traveling. You see what I'm saying? This guy has no idea what he is talking about. He's trying to confuse traveling with getting a driver's license, which is a privilege. Now, you have to sign a contract with the state and the DMV to gain the privilege to drive. Now, when you drive, that is another form of traveling. But to say that if you sign a contract with the state, you lose your right to travel is the most idiotic thing that I have ever heard in my life. Now, driving an automobile is a privilege. So yes, that privilege can be taken away from you, but that does not mean that you lose your right to travel, because if the state takes your driver's license from you for whatever reason, you can still travel by bike, by cab, by public transportation. So what in the doohickey are you talking about, sir? You are a complete moron.
Anything that's public, you keep it in the public. Anything that's private, you keep it in the private. So my right to bear arms has nothing to do with a license. My right of travel had nothing to do with a license. I separate that 1,000%. And that's why people have to understand that before you decide that you want to exercise your rights. I made the video before. I said, do not challenge jurisdiction, get out of it. And the way you get out of jurisdiction by cutting legal ties from the state. And when you cut legal ties from the state have no more personal jurisdiction over you. They have no jurisdiction. And they telling you this. Let's read Florida statute 48.192. Let's read it, y'all. Let's read it. We can read it. They telling y'all this. Let me find it right here. Let me show y'all. Look, finna read it right here. Look. Now y'all see this, right? Oh shit. Hate this monetized thing. Look. So look, let's read it. Acts subjecting, hold on. Florida statute 48.193 acts that are subjecting persons to the jurisdiction of courts. This is the state legislative, the statutory code website, right? A person, whether or not a citizen or resident of the state, who personally or through an agent does any of the facts enumerated in this subsection, thereby submits himself or herself If he or she is a natural person, his or her personal representative to the jurisdiction of the court of state for any of the cause of action arises from the following acts. So it's telling you whether you are a U.S. citizen, whether you are a non-citizen national, whether you claim to be a fictitious person, or whether you claim to be a natural person, you are subject if you perform any of these acts. Operating, conducting, engaging in, or carrying on a business or business ventures in the state, or having an office or agency within the state, right? Committing a violent act within the state that relates to the injured party. Owning, using, possessing, or holding a mortgage or other lien on any real property within the state. Because if you have a mortgage in the state, what happened is you're giving that state jurisdiction because the deed is registered to the state. If you want your house to be in the private within the state, you get a damn allodial title.
Okay, now let me guess. I can get that allodial title from you for a fee, of course.
So if you want to be sovereign, y'all got to know how to live in the private. You got to separate yourself from the state and the federal courts. You got to separate yourself from the police jurisdiction. It don't work like that. I don't know what the hell videos y'all been watching. I don't know what the hell what somebody else told y'all. It don't work like that. I don't care what the Moors tell y'all. If you contract with the state, your ass going to jail. If you contract anything with the state, your ass going to jail. Now, if you want to be a non-citizen national and you want to follow this route the right way, you can be a free man. You can do what you want to do. You can live however you want to live because they do not own you. They own you when you contract. The contract makes law. Especially these are administrative courts. Administrative courts only operate off contracts. So when y'all go to court, say, oh, I'm challenging jurisdiction. It doesn't work like that. You challenging something they already established because you agreed to it, right? And I understand it's silent contracts. And that's why you guys got to set up these consultations, talk to me, so I can teach y'all about these silent contracts. And when I was telling him, this is the sad thing about it. He was on board with everything as far as he understand how the route go. But the woman he's with not on route. His own girlfriend gave them jurisdiction over him. But she didn't know. It's an honest mistake. But she didn't know because he didn't tell her nothing. If you ask my wife right now, the police came to my wife and said, where do you guys live at? She's going to tell you the United States of America Republic. If they ask her for a social security number, she won't say nothing. If they ask her anything to try to get her into their jurisdiction, she's not going to answer it.
Excuse me, sir, but what in the are you talking about? If you get into some type of police contact, why would the officers ask for your social security number? You are a complete fool. When the police lock you up, they take your fingerprints and then you are in the database. They do not need your social security number, and they will not ever ask for your social security number. So what are you talking about? I'm sorry, but anybody who listens to this guy is a complete moron.
So when that stuff pop up on a background check, this is what pop up on the background check, right? Now this is what you guys need to know. Okay, now this is what pop up on the background check. Law enforcement, sensitive information. Do not detain or arrest this individual based off this notice. Do not advise this individual that they may be a person or of national security interest. Now they do this as a ladder to mislead the officer on why you might have a gun, why you might have a legal substance or whatever, right? Now this is the loophole. The police is trying to gain jurisdiction because they don't have the jurisdiction directly over you, right? At that particular time, they don't have no jurisdiction, so they need to establish it. So they come to you, hey, what do you guys currently reside in? Oh, I live in 441 Pine Hill Crest Street. It's over with. You gave them jurisdiction. What's your social security number? You gave them jurisdiction. You agree to these contracts, you are subject to the jurisdiction. And that's how it is. So don't be crying. Don't be mad at the police. It's not the police's fault that you want to contract with them. When the police, at that situation I was just saying last week, when they wanted to make the arrest, the police gave me that damn passport back and walked out with a sad damn face. And I had guns in the car and everything. And guess what happened? He can't do shit. Because I'm really a sovereign man. A sovereign man lives sovereign. A sovereign man did not contract with the state. Nor does a sovereign man contract with any of these administrative courts. We do not contract. Not at all. So, for anybody who want to learn how to live in the private, those who really want to know how to do everything in the private, my bank account's in the private. And when I mean bank accounts in the private, I mean there is not under a social security number. So the IRS cannot just come in my bank account, audit it, and whenever the fuck they feel like it. No, I just put my bank accounts in the private, my other bank account in the private, and it's not really necessarily in the private. It's just in a way it's out of the jurisdiction of me being a U.S. citizen, being subject to a tax liability. That's what I mean. All right, just hit me up, everybody. Cool. Okay, now this video gonna be about something kind of different. Now, for a lot of people who struggling to pay their mortgages, or people who, just can't afford, to keep up with those monthly payments, and those people who teaching y'all to discharge our mortgages and write it off and stuff like that. I know a loophole in law that you can legally do, and it doesn't cost a lot of money or a lot of stress. So, if you don't care about your credit, now this is what you can do, right? Um, Say if you have a $400,000 mortgage, and they want to kind of foreclose your home. Like, say if you go 4, 5, 6 months without paying. Now, what you can do is, if they ever send you to court, you can file a petition and make a claim of adverse possession. Now, many of y'all who don't know what adverse possession is when you claiming legal ownership over the property. So what you're trying to do is you establishing that you have rights to the land and property just as much as the lender. And certain states different. Like, say for instance, Texas, you have to adverse a property for over 10 years. So that means 10 years of maintaining it, 10 years of paying off the taxes, 10 years of paying off of anything like that. But you wouldn't have to pay the mortgage. That's the good thing about adverse possession. You wouldn't have to pay the mortgage anymore. You just have to maintain it, cut the grass, keep the house up to par, and you claim it ownership. And it's also something called a color of title. The color of title comes in every state. You can search it up on Google, search it up on your PDFs, and you will find a lot of templates of color of titles. And you take that to the recording office in the courthouse. The recording office probably charge $3 a page to record the information. And if they ever go to court and you making an adverse possession claim, that's a legal statutory claim that you can make in any court. Now, statutory law is not the same as if you were trying to get it under a allodial title. The reason why I say this is because a lot of people don't have money to put their houses under a allodial estate. What I mean by that is they don't have money for the patent, they don't have money for the copyright. Some people don't have money for the trademark, right, to get their home trademarked.
This guy is pretty much trying to teach people how to con the system. He's trying to teach people how to be irresponsible. He's trying to say he knows all of these loopholes. Nothing this man does or is telling you is legitimate. If you follow his advice, you will go to jail. Just like he explained how one of the people that he teaches got arrested. Do not listen to this fool. He is talking a bunch of rubbish. Essentially, what he is doing, he is teaching you how to be a criminal.
So if you don't want to do that, you want to go the easiest route. Go about it by filing an adverse possession claim, because that'll be your easiest remedy to getting your house back to you, and you regain all of the ownership. So just think about it. And now look, this is another thing, right? Now, now this is some things that a lot of people don't talk about, and we're gonna discuss it, right? Since we on this channel. Now, a few people concerning me about this one question in particular: can a non-citizen national or state citizen have drugs or be in possession of drugs and get let off, right? And the answer to answer your question is, of course. And now I'm going to break it down. Because drugs was never the problem. The problem is you being a subject to a commercial court, or being a subject as pretty much you being a ward of the state, being someone who incapacitated, or someone who is subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Because remember this, all crimes are commercial. All crimes. And every court is an administrative court. So everything is based off contract. So say, for instance, you got a drug dealer, right, who's a non-citizen national. You got a U.S. citizen. Now, the U.S. citizen is subject to the policies within the state on the level where he's a statutory citizen. Any statutory citizen have to be subjected to the codes within the state. So if they disobeyed those statutes, of course they'd be subjected to that. Now, a non-citizen national being a state citizen, the only crime that um, would violate the whole matter if he committed a violent act where it's an injured party. That's what I read when I was reading Florida acts and, like, what subject the person to the jurisdiction. So a state citizen who's outside of their jurisdiction, who's operating privately, and he doesn't have any contracts with the state or federal government within that state couldn't do anything, because the district court worked directly hand in hand with the state court. Because anytime you're arrested by the police and they want to make your case federal, the federal court get the same records that the state court get. People just intimidated by federal court because they say, "Oh, federal," but federal courts are also administrative courts as well, right? They don't have jurisdiction unless you give it to them too, right? Because they dealing with United States code, and the state courts is dealing with statutory codes, right? Now, do I advise people to sell drugs? That's your personal thing. Some people deal with marijuana, some people deal with that cocaine, some people deal with heroin, right? And I always want to be open when I teach people about this stuff, because some people just curious, they never heard of it. So if a person had marijuana, right, a marijuana business in a private, and they want to sell marijuana, and they don't want to be the police coming to them or anything like that, of course they can. If they have no contracts with the state, do what you want to do. But if you have contracts with the state, they coming. The feds coming, and the state police is coming. But if you have no contracts, there's nothing they can do. Remember, the message on your passport tells the police you have their jurisdiction. But if they can't get you the contract with them, you can do whatever you want. It's all about contract. They ain't got nothing to do with what you have as far as the substance. Because the DEA, the ATF, the FBI, where do you think the drugs go when they take it from you? They go to their lab and back to the communities, and so they can arrest someone else on a statutory code. So it has nothing to do with what we think it is. As far as they stopping crime, they are enforcing commercial policies. That's all they do. It's all about commerce. And if you're subject to that commerce, you're going to jail. If you're not a subject to that commerce, you're not going to jail. But you will be watched. And you'll be watched carefully if you become a threat to these people. I'm out.
Do not fall victim to this man's teachings. He is a complete idiot. He has no idea what he's talking about. And if you take any of his advice, you'll be going straight to jail.